Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 7 a.m.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a missing child alert in effect across Florida. This morning, the suspects authorities are looking for and where they might be headed.
Plus, a worldwide security alert now issued for all Americans after the U.S. strikes on Iran. What's expected next as retaliation remains possible?
And breaking news this morning, an investigation now underway after a deputy is shot in Marion County. What we're learning right now. Good morning on your Monday. It is 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Moore. Trooper Steve, keep an eye on those roads. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with your forecast. Another hot day ahead. Not a ton of rain going to be happening here in Central Florida today.
No. The sprinklers need to go on for the next couple of days just because the conditions are really dry right now. We have a lot of dry air in place. So that'll keep things dry, but also keep the heat index from reaching like plus 105, right? So the air is still going to be tropical. It's not just going to be like overly tropical, if that makes any sense. All right, let's take a live look outside Cape Canaveral. Beautiful live look right now from our Launch Credit Union camera. There along the Space Coast, we have stayed at 80. We have not cooled down any further than that. In Daytona Beach, a little cooler, 76 degrees. We're in those mid-70s across our inland zones as well. As you're running out the door in the next couple of minutes, dropping the kids off at summer camp, it's a warm, it's a muggy, dry start. I think our rain chances for the most part will be extremely limited today, really focused west of I-4. So rain chances today only about 20 to 30%. It will be feeling hotter though than that 94 degrees, feeling close to 100 this afternoon. Looking at the rain chances at this time, we're looking at the coverage only about 10 to 20% along the coast, a touch higher the further inland you go. Again, the main focus will be in and around Leesburg, Orlando, up through the villages, as that east coast sea breeze will be pushing most of the activity out towards the west coast, which is the same area that's been seeing more of that rain for the past couple of days. We'll have more details on the switch in the forecast when you can expect a better chance for rain, and also looking at a better chance for possible development in the tropics coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
Thank you, ma'am. 7:02 in the morning. Things looking nice out there. Our drive times where they should be? No, that changed very quickly. That was not there a second ago. So Champions Gate to downtown Orlando, we're looking at possibly now a 49-minute drive. That means we have some serious slowdowns, probably up by 5:35. I'll check on that. That was not sitting. That was sitting at 32 right before I walked out. 22 minutes coming in from Sanford, which is really nice. 5:28. Ghost town right now. Nice and clear out there, still sitting in the green east and westbound with no problems. Even closer to the beach, we're still looking nice. Cape Canaveral, all up to speed. A1A, even all the way down south towards Melbourne. No problems. Palm Bay, Satellite Beach, even Malabar, all clear. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Breaking news right now, an early morning investigation now underway after a traffic stop leads to a deputy being shot. This is a look at the scene in Marion County, a picture there. The shooting happened on South Pine Avenue. So far, we've learned a woman shot the deputy, and that deputy returned fire. We're told the deputy has non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect has been transported to the hospital. We'll keep you updated here on News 6 and clickorlando.com as updates become available.
Right now, a missing child alert, a newborn taken from Altamont Springs. At this point, police have not provided a picture of little Tanaya, but they do believe she is with LaTraka Fairley and Timothy Tyson. The baby was last seen on East Altamont Drive. Fairley and Tyson may have left the Central Florida area and could be in Bradford or Clay County. And police say if you know where they are, if you see them, do not approach them and call 911. Also happening right now, the search for a missing man in Sanford. This is 65-year-old Gary Lanou. Police say he was last seen leaving the Sanford Manor Assisted Living Facility around 2 p.m. yesterday. He was walking. He was wearing a yellow shirt, beige jacket, and light gray or blue pants. Due to his mental health, Lanou is considered an endangered person. If you see him, call the Sanford Police Department.
This morning, a warning from the U.S. State Department. A global security alert is now in effect, urging all Americans to stay on high alert after U.S. strikes on Iran, especially if you're traveling overseas. The agency says the conflict between Israel and Iran is interrupting air travel across the Middle East. Homeland Security is also warning of possible retaliation, including cyber attacks and violence at home or abroad. The threats follow U.S. strikes on 3 nuclear facilities in Iran over the weekend.
And today, President Trump is set to meet with his national security team as he warns Iran to stand down. News 6's Angie Casada joining us now live in studio with the latest on this. How's Iran responding so far, Angie?
Well, right now, Iran is promising retaliation. Their military is on high alert. And the U.S. warns of possible cyber attacks or proxy groups. But so far, no direct strike. The White House says it's pushing diplomacy despite very mixed messages coming from the top.
The aftermath of Operation Midnight Hammer is coming into sharper view. Satellite images revealing craters and massive damage at 3 nuclear sites inside Iran: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan.
The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect.
The strikes involved more than 125 aircraft, including B-2 bombers. President Trump gave the go-ahead for Marine One, now saying the U.S. is pushing for a return to negotiations. But just hours later, he shared this message on social media. Quote, if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?
What we are focused on is not the changing of the regime. Okay, that's up to the Iranian people.
Israel confirms it was briefed on the mission in advance.
I knew in advance.
Meantime, protests broke out across the U.S. Sunday, calling for de-escalation as Iran vows to respond.
Now, the White House says any Iranian retaliation will be met with, quote, far greater force. Of course, stay with News 6 on air and on clickorlando.com for the latest developments. In studio, Angie Casava, News 6.
Angie, thanks. Here in Central Florida, there are many people with family ties to Iran, including State Representative Anna Eskamani. Her parents migrated to the U.S. from Iran. News 6's Jarrell Baker spoke with her about her fears for her loved ones still in that country. Eskamani says her grandmother, as well as several other family members, still live in Iran, including in the capital, Tehran. She says bombings, wars, and battles impact everyday Iranians like her family and many children. The last time she spoke to her family was 2 or 3 days ago due to the Iranian regime limiting internet access in the country.
So some of my family that are evacuated out of Tehran to communities in the north. But my grandmother, because she is frail, was unable to evacuate. So she's still in Tehran with my aunt and my uncle, with many, many other family as well. It's a big family in Iran, so it's honestly hard to keep track of everyone, though I know that my family that's here in the United States, we're trying.
As we continue to hear more reaction, join us at the bottom of the hour with a look at how much gas prices have risen since the U.S. strike in Iran.
The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a crash in Osceola County that killed 6 people. And this morning, we're working to learn the identity of those victims. FHP says the driver of an SUV tried to pass slower traffic on State Road 60. Unfortunately, that unidentified driver did not make it in time, slamming head-on into a semi. According to state troopers, 3 adults and 3 kids were in that SUV when it caught fire, killing everyone inside. The semi-truck driver is okay.
The state's unemployment rate is holding steady, according to recent numbers. In May, unemployment rates held at 3.7% after inching up earlier in the year. The Florida Department of Commerce's recent report shows an estimated 414,000 Floridians were out of work in May from a labor force of 11.2 million. The report came after the legislature approved a budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year that included putting additional money into a state rainy day fund as a brace against potential future economic downturns or disasters. Most business sectors in Florida showed upticks in employment, though small declines were seen in government and construction jobs. Governor Ron DeSantis says the state economy doesn't show signs of concern.
If people are able to find gainful employment and actually earn a decent living, then they're going to be able to spend that money here locally. It helps businesses, it helps things move.
While Florida's unemployment rate is 3.7%, it still remains lower than the national unemployment rate.
It was a major celebration in South Florida Sunday for the Florida Panthers. The NHL champs held their Stanley Cup parade along the beach in Fort Lauderdale. Can't do that in Canada. The Panthers made sure to bring the cup off of the trucks so the fans could touch the trophy and join in on the celebration. The Panthers, of course, won the Stanley Cup on Tuesday. They defeated the Edmonton Oilers in the best-of-7 series for the 2nd straight season. It's so crazy how good the Florida hockey teams are. The Panthers and the Lightning, it's been like 5 or 6 years straight of having a Florida team in the Stanley Cup finals. Just bizarre. It's crazy. I don't know. But it's a really cool environment in Sunrise just because it's in Fort Lauderdale. It's not Miami.
That's right.
And they still come out in droves, and they have a huge following. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps when you're good, too.
I mean, that's easy. But the Stanley Cup, didn't it get banged up a little bit?
Probably.
I heard it got banged up a little bit. They had to fix it before the parade.
I mean, those hockey guys, they know how to have fun, though.
Yeah. That's why they're missing a lot of teeth. All
That's
right,
right.
let's talk about the weather forecast across the area. Temperatures this afternoon back into the upper 80s, low 90s. It is going to be a nice day if you want to be out and about. It's just going to be another hot one as temperatures once again will be feeling close to 100. It's not going to be unbearably hot like it has been for the past couple of weeks, and that's because we have just enough dry air that will allow those temperatures to actually, the feels like temperatures to stay in the upper 90s. So still feeling like 99 to 101 is no joke, but again, it's not 105 to 110 like what we have been experiencing. I do want to show you though, if you have any travel plans up for the summer for the next week or so, the eastern side of the country is going to be a scorcher. Big ridge of high pressure, the same thing that's bringing us that heat is going to basically anchor itself across the east, and that means areas in and around the Great Lakes up through the northeast, through the Virginia area. They're experiencing several heat advisories for the next couple of days. So that's going to be the big national story as they're going to be dealing with record heat. Back here at home, our heat is pretty typical for this time of the year, but that same high is going to be keeping their skies relatively clear, and our rain chances on the lower side. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a little bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
All right, we're getting a little busier out here this morning. The reason for the drive time, because there's a lot of traffic out there, out by the construction area, eastbound I-4, out by 536. So just be careful. 44 minutes, Champions Gate to that downtown area, and that's the red spot that is currently illuminating the eastbound lanes. Now, there's no crash out there. However, we do have an incident eastbound along 528 at the 20-mile marker. Not sure if the trooper's still there on the shoulder. Yes, they are. So they're still hanging out on the shoulder there. It's amazing what blue lights will do to a bunch of travel lanes. So as you're headed eastbound close to Innovation in the eastern portion of 528, you're going to slow down a little bit. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. 7:12 coming up. The one house chore that we're all apparently getting wrong.
Well, we don't want to do it anyway, so that's okay.
No.
We'll have that coming up. Plus, one local woman's fight for better air quality. A look at the $50,000 air monitors being installed across multiple neighborhoods, and the project she says local leaders should reconsider.
Beware of your bank reaching out to you. Crooks are impersonating bank employees and ripping off innocent victims. I'm investigator Louis Bold, and I'll tell you how to protect yourself coming up.
You're watching News 6 Mornings. Oh, nice shot over Daytona Beach. We'll be right back. New this morning, a warning to beware of your bank reaching out to you. Crooks are impersonating bank employees and ripping off innocent victims.
Investigator Louis Bolden has this week's schemes and ripoffs alert with a woman who says it happened to her.
Your photos, data, bank information, and cards are at risk.
Cindy Burns says it started with a simple text message and ended with her life savings being wiped out. How were you feeling?
Completely violated, taken advantage of, beyond anything I could have dreamed of.
The text claimed there was a suspicious charge to her Apple account and a suspicious sign-in request. According to the text, she needed to talk to an Apple representative immediately to cancel the charge. When she called, the scammers convinced her her bank account had been compromised and that she needed to withdraw her money.
Did you feel suspicious at all?
I didn't. He was so convincing. I believed what he was telling me.
Burns made 2 withdrawals, one for just under $9,000 and another just over $6,000. Then through social engineering, the crooks convinced her to convert the $15,000 to Bitcoin, and she unknowingly sent it right to them.
What was I thinking? Departing with all my money, that I could just hand it over like that. But I did.
According to the Federal Trade Commission, Americans lost $12.8 billion to fraud last year, and imposter scams ranked the 3rd highest category. If you get a text claiming to be from your bank or a company you do business with, do not call the number in the text. Find the number independently and call to verify if there's a problem with your account. Remember, don't fall for the scheme, don't get ripped off, but if you do, email me at theinvestigators@WKMG.com. I'm Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Right now in Seminole County, a plan to revive the Seminole Town Center is now in the works. Like many struggling malls, the Seminole Town Center is looking to turn things around. Now city leaders say Costco could be the key. New plans filed with the city show a massive 156,000 square foot Costco with more than 800 parking spaces set to replace the old Macy's.
Public will probably start feeling that, oh my gosh, it really is happening. Should be in the next about 4 months.
Not until we see that construction start. That's when we know. Well, for now, city officials are not sharing any details of other businesses just yet. However, we have seen clues in the site plans that there's space for a hotel.
That'll bring some traffic in. I don't think I've ever seen a Costco not packed, right?
No.
Always out the door. Well, in Orange County, one woman is working to prove the air we breathe could be making us sick. And to prove it, Lawana Gelzer and the Coalition of 100 Black Women are installing air monitoring machines across Paramore and 13 other communities as well. And that's all thanks to a $500,000 EPA grant. So the team has installed 4 of those machines so far. They're designed to track how car emissions, heat, and pollution are impacting our health.
We have to change this once a month to just make sure everything is running fair. This is the meteorological one to gather the heat, and this is what it brings it in.
All right, so 4 of the monitors are already up and running. Gelzer says data will be sent to the EPA to make the case for change.
We had been complaining to governmental agencies that we had some concerns about the air quality, the environment, all kinds of things that was happening, especially in the BIPOC communities, the Black and brown communities.
Another area Gelzer is concerned about is underneath I-4, and she's now pushing local leaders to rethink the Canopy project that's happening there, saying it could do more harm than good.
All right, how many of you guys like to do laundry?
You're not going to find me.
Raise your hand if you do.
You're not going to find me raising my hand. I like having clean clothes. How about that?
Well, trending this morning, one man coining himself as a laundry expert says most of you're not washing your clothes right. Yeah. He actually created a store in the Mall of America dedicated to laundry. Patrick Richardson says we're using too much detergent. His 3 main tips: 1 tablespoon if you're using soap, 2 tablespoons if you're using commercial laundry detergent. As for the water temperature, it's okay to wash everything using warm water. He also urges people to stop using fabric softener. Steve.
That's a whole book.
Well, did you see how many pages about laundry? My goodness.
You got nothing else to do.
I mean, I don't mind laundry if I can do it by myself in peace and quiet.
So
because I can watch TV.
Do it on Sunday mornings when the wife's out of town.
Yeah.
And I just can do it all.
Lay it all on the couch.
My strategy used to be, after I've worn everything, I would just buy more clothes.
Oh, that's how it used to be.
But now I'm getting out of that.
Yes, good. Let's get rid of that. It's not a good phase of life
not.
to be in.
It's a very expensive habit.
Yeah, it is.
So wash your clothes, folks.
Wash it.
Well, yeah.
Just take the time and do it.
If there's one errand you don't like to do, what is it? What's the one errand you do?
I just don't like folding. I don't mind washing clothes.
Errand or chore? Because, I mean, scrubbing like the shower has got to be the worst.
Yeah.
So, like anything bathroom related.
I'm good with all that.
You're good with the bathroom. What's
Steve
your one
loves
chore?
it though.
I'm highly domesticated, y'all.
He painted his fence. He did his whole backyard.
If there's anything, I hate taking the trash out.
Huh.
It's just weird. I know that because and then I got to go and grab because I pick up all the dog poop in the yard too.
Oh.
I don't leave any dog poop in the yard.
That's good.
At all. But to y'all that don't pick up after your dog, coming after you guys. I'm gonna start live streaming.
I started something, didn't I? All right, let's talk about the weather forecast across the area. Listen, if you got to do chores, you got to do your errands, at least the weather's going to be looking pretty nice, right? Drier, breezier weather today. Now that breeze is going to continue to push any activity that we could see develop on the radar out towards our western zones. So for the most part, I think we're going to stay relatively dry this afternoon. Now we are going to be bringing back that chance of rain towards Thursday, Friday. You might want to have the umbrella handy again, as we'll be back into more of a typical summer setup with our coverage back up to about 50 to 60%. And we are watching an area in the tropics. It's been some time since we've actually been watching an area now with a high chance. It's the first one of the season. Could get a name later on today. We're waiting for that update. Should be coming in at about 8 o'clock. Daytona Beach sky cam right now. Beautiful live look right now. Daytona is at 76, 75 in Sanford. We're still at 80 degrees in Melbourne. But I do want to show you this shot here. This is from Sunset Ridge Estates. This was pinned to our pin it page here from Dan B225. I don't know what your name is, but I'm assuming it's Dan. But we are looking at a pretty impressive rain cloud there. You can see it all just kind of dumping there on that one side of the screen. This came in on Friday. It was certainly an active day. In many parts of Central Florida, we're not going to be seeing a lot of that, at least for the next 2-3 days. Radar sweeps are going around, really not picking up much. But as we take you here hour by hour, so you can plan out your Monday, maybe taking the kids to the playground or the dog parks or whatever the case may be, we don't really have to dodge a lot of rain today, only about 20 to 30%. Let me show you what that coverage looks like on our modeling. This is 12 o'clock. I'll be showing to you right here on News 6 at noon. Not a lot going on. There it is. There's that little 20 to 30% we're going to be pinpointing this afternoon. Again, favoring areas west and kind of pinning itself out towards the Gulf Coast counties. Again, tropics are starting to wake up just a little bit. Right now, a 70% chance that this could be our next named storm. If it does get a name, it will be named Andrea. The good news is it's on its way towards the north and east. Could potentially become just a fish storm, not a big concern for us. And as we get results here, the full 7-day forecast, staying relatively dry for the next 2 days. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. Things still looking good out here this morning with just some slight delays. Tractions area, eastbound I-4, starting to see a little bit of a trickle over by World Drive, lasting till just east of 535, and then eastbound 528 from Orange County headed towards State Road 520. Right lane, left lane, they're open. Troopers out on the right shoulder there with the lights flashing, causing a little bit of a slowdown. Outside of that, it's not too bad. Things nice and smooth. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Happening today, the Pet Alliance of Greater Orlando will complete another major step towards reopening next year. We have some video from construction. This took place last month. It's when crews were putting up the walls of the new animal shelter. And today, The roof will be installed. You may remember a fire destroyed the Pet Alliance's longtime shelter off Conroy Road back in 2021. It was caused by an electrical issue. The shelter is completely donation funded, so if you'd like to help them out, you can head to petalliance.org.
A car wash in Florida is receiving praise for giving employment opportunities to people with autism. Rising Tide Car Wash in Coral Springs is offering more than just work, but an opportunity that's not always easy to come by. People with autism experience high unemployment rates. A 2017 NIH study put it at about 40%, while other estimates show it can be as high as 80%. Thomas Dieri and his father started Rising Tide to give Thomas's younger brother, Andrew, who has autism, and others like him a chance to thrive.
It became really clear really quickly when he was graduating high school that we were going to have to take action in order for him to lead the full adult life that we knew he was capable of. And today he has friends, he has a community of peers, he has money in his pocket where he can go buy things that he wants, and it's brought our family together.
And something everybody wants, some independence, right? Rising Tide has over 100 employees and over 80% have autism. For now, the car wash has only 3 locations, all in South Florida. So if you're visiting, hit them up.
Definitely hit them up.
Wash.
I love that idea. Well, the aftermath of U.S. strikes on Iran already being felt at the gas pump.
At the bottom of the hour, how much more you can expect to pay and if we'll soon see any relief.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
Good Monday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos taking a live look outside our Launch Credit Union camera. Tons of sunshine, limited clouds today, and we're going to see limited rain as well. Temperatures out the door right now. It's warm, it's muggy, it's the mid 70s. Now throughout the afternoon, we're going to rebound back into those low 90s, feeling close to the triple digits, but look how low our rain chances will be at play today. Looking at about a 30% chance from I-4 towards our west. Now, to get results to the full 7-day forecast, we are looking at a little more rain in the forecast towards the end of the week. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
We're real slow right now. Eastbound I-4 out by 535. Excuse me, major issues out there. No crash, though, to currently give you. So just be careful out there. Bumper to bumper, increase your following distance. Crash cleared eastbound 528, but the trooper's still hanging out there. Blue lights on, causing some slowdowns. Almost backed up 2 miles in that direction. Again, that's right around the 20-mile marker. Puts you just east there of Innovation before State Road 520. The news continues next. Remember, get updates on any of our big stories anytime. ClickOrlando.com.
Streaming on ClickOrlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
The time is now 7:30 on your Monday.
Let's get a check of our top stories. Right now, police are asking for your help to find a missing newborn out of Altamont Springs. They believe these two, LaTraka Fairley and Timothy Tyson, have the child. Now, they may have left Central Florida and could be in the Bradford or Clay County area.
President Trump is expected to meet with his national security team today, 2 days after the U.S. military launched strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. U.S. officials are calling it a success, and the White House says any Iranian retaliation will be met with greater force.
And the lawyers for a man set to be executed tomorrow are asking for a stay of execution. Thomas Gudinos was convicted of killing Michelle McGrath in 1994 after she left an Orlando nightclub. If he is executed, he would be the 7th inmate put to death by lethal injection this year in Florida.
All right, enough with the heavy stuff. Let's turn now to the weather. We're taking a live look at Mount Dora.
Beautiful shot.
People are up and moving around.
Getting that morning sun.
Yeah,
so important.
It's gonna be hot.
Start your day. It's going to be a hot day. Not a ton of rain out there. At least that's what the forecast is calling for. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos breaking down the details.
Yeah, this is going to be technically the coolest part of the day. So if you need to be out and about, maybe doing your exercise and things outside, the temperatures are going to heat up once again this afternoon, back into those mid-90s. But it won't be feeling as humid as it has been, and this because we have some dry air that's working its way in. It'll still be hot, but won't be as stormy. 76 right now in Daytona Beach, 80 in Melbourne. We're also going to be picking up that breeze in place today, upwards about 15 to 20 mile per hour gusts, especially along the coastline. So little change to what we have been seeing for the past couple of days. Rain chances this afternoon on the low side, especially basically I-4 towards the east, less than about 10 to 20%. A touch higher the further west we go, and it looks like most of the activity will be kind of pinning itself out towards the Gulf Coast counties. So again, the sea breeze setup is really going to be driven by that East Coast sea breeze this afternoon, which is why temperatures are not going to be feeling as hot. 94 is our high today as the kids are getting ready for summer camp. Limited rain, still feeling hot. We'll have more details on when you can start seeing the rain work back into the forecast, and a quick look at what's area we're watching in the tropics coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
Still seeing some slowdowns out there. I am losing my voice this morning. Eastbound I-4, 535 Osceola Parkway area. We're very bumper to bumper right now. You can see that traffic barely moving. Increase your following distance. Also, another thing, if you're passing a semi-truck and there's a lot of space there in that lane, they're doing that on purpose. It's not for you, so they don't hit the car in front of them. So don't slide in front of these large trucks. Give them some space. Eastbound 528 at the 20-mile marker. There's a trooper on the right-hand side finishing up some paperwork. Earlier crashed, meaning it is clear, but there are some delays out there. East and westbound, though, or majority westbound if you're headed in, nice and clear. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Breaking news, a suspect shot a deputy this morning in Marion County. That deputy returned fire, shooting the suspect. It happened on US 27, just north of Southwest 32nd Street in Ocala. The deputy is expected to survive. Both the suspect and deputy were taken to the hospital. The Marion County Sheriff's Office tells us the shooting happened during a traffic stop. We're sending a crew to Ocala, and we'll have updates on ClickOrlando.com.
This morning, global tensions are rising after the U.S. attacked Iranian nuclear sites. And while Iran is vowing a response, President Trump is expected to meet with his national security team today. News 6's Angie Casada joining us now live in studio. What's the White House saying this morning, Angie?
Hey, Justin, this morning global tensions are rising following those U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. The White House says it wants diplomacy, but President Trump's latest messages are raising questions about what comes next.
The U.S. military strikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran now confirmed to have caused widespread damage. Satellite images from Maxar show deep craters and entire sections of facilities reduced to rubble.
The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect.
The mission, codenamed Operation Midnight Hammer, involved B-2 bombers and dozens of support aircraft. The Pentagon calls it a success, but the political messaging is split.
What we are focused on is not the changing of the regime. Okay, that's up to the Iranian people.
But President Trump shared a different message Sunday, suggesting on social media that regime change may be the end goal.
I knew in advance that.
Israel's prime minister confirms his country was alerted about the mission. And here at home, protests broke out in several major cities.
Now, the White House says that any Iranian retaliation will be met with, quote, far greater force. President Donald Trump is expected to meet with his national security team later today. In studio, Angie Casada, News 6.
Angie, thanks. And you might be paying more at the gas pump this week. Oil prices surged late last night after the U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear sites. U.S. oil futures jumped nearly 3%, while global benchmark Brent hit almost $79 a barrel. Analysts warn if tensions escalate, prices could climb past $80. That means higher gas prices ahead and a fresh wave of inflation for U.S. consumers.
Meanwhile, we're waiting to see when the next rescue flights from Israel will land here in Florida. Governor DeSantis says more evacuations are on the way after dozens of Americans touched down in Tampa last week. The governor chartered flights to bring home Jewish Americans caught in that escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. About 160 passengers landed Friday morning. The governor was there to greet them.
Going to be more folks that are going to be rescued. This is an ongoing effort.
Now, the governor says they're working around the clock to get more Americans out of the country. The state is partnering with a nonprofit called Gray Bull Rescue to coordinate future flights. A convicted murderer set to be executed tomorrow is hoping the state Supreme Court will step in.
Thomas Godinez was sentenced to death for the murder of an Orlando woman in 1994. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez joins us live in studio with more. And Stephanie, if it does happen, he'd be the 7th inmate put to death by lethal injection this year in Florida.
Yeah, he would be, but his attorneys are trying to stop that from happening. They're asking for a stay of execution, saying the state needs to have a criteria for who is put to death. Godinez was convicted of raping and murdering 27-year-old Michelle McGrath in 1994 after she left an Orlando nightclub. In a petition to the state, his lawyer said Florida's governor has no criteria, procedure, or guidelines in place for selecting who lives and who dies. The attorney says the state should turn over records that would explain Governor DeSantis' choice to sign the death warrant. Now, we spoke to Michelle McGrath's sister last month about the execution, which she believes would bring her some closure.
I would say over the last 30 years, occasionally I do look at the status of if he's still where I thought he was, and I'm not going to have to do that anymore. And that is actually kind of a relief.
Now, the state attorney general's office did respond to Godinez's attorney, urging the Florida Supreme Court to reject the request to stay the execution. So now we just have to wait to learn if the Florida Supreme Court will stop it or will allow it to happen. It is scheduled to happen on Tuesday. News 6 will be there to cover the execution if it does go through. Our Mike Valente will be in Stark at the Florida State Prison. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. The sports bar sprayed with bullets during a shooting in Daytona Beach is expected to reopen today. The owners of Southturn posted on social media that they're giving it a try after a shooting Friday night left 3 people hurt. Police say 28-year-old Anthony Kaznikoff was drinking at the bar, got aggressive, and then was escorted out. But they say he came back and fired into the front of the building, hitting 3 people, including the owner's brother who needed emergency surgery. All 3 survived. Kaznikoff eventually turned himself in and faced a judge over the weekend. He is now locked up at the Volusia County Jail without bond.
And we'll be checking in on how a man is recovering this morning after he was struck by lightning on New Smyrna Beach. Volusia Beach Safety tells us it happened Friday near the 27th Avenue Beach approach. Investigators say a 29-year-old man from Colorado was in ankle-deep water when he was hit. He was taken to the hospital after first responders performed CPR. At last check, he was in critical condition. It just so happens the chief meteorologist for our CBS affiliate in Cincinnati was on that beach vacationing when it happened.
The entire condo shook, just a rumbling shake. And it was clearly a lightning strike that was close by. I looked at my app. It was like 100 yards up the beach. But the thing that shocked me, even after that strike that occurred on the beach, people were out here like nothing was going on.
Emergency crews tell us 2 other people were also struck on Friday while golfing in Venetian Bay, but they didn't need to go to the hospital.
And it was a weekend of wild weather across the state. Here's some video from yesterday in Anna Maria Island showing what appears to be a water spout forming. Officials say there were a few that popped up in the area at the same time, too. There have been no reports of injuries or damage, but just shows you how quickly things can change. Here in the state of Florida, when it's summer, I mean, you have that gentleman in the water from Colorado, Ken. It's just awful. Probably just didn't know that there was a storm approaching. It wasn't raining, and then all of a sudden, boom, struck by lightning.
And that's the thing. You have these towering cumulus clouds, and they have these things called an anvil, which is basically where the clouds kind of start spreading out far up in the sky. You get some of those lightning strikes that's how you get those, what they call bolts out of the blue. That probably wasn't even a cloud overhead. It came from an anvil nearby. So again, lightning can travel more than 10 miles at times. So if you just hear that rumble of thunder, you've got to get inside. There were so many people on that beach during that time. I remember looking at that live look from Daytona Beach. Again, it wasn't raining, right? Daytona Beach right now, we're at 76 degrees, 76 as well in Leesburg. We're holding at 82 in Titusville, and we're going to continue to see temperatures warm up throughout the day. We're up to 94 this afternoon, but notice that the feels like temperature won't be super high into those triple digits. It's still about 99. That's because we have some dry air in place that although we will certainly have a heat index, it won't be an extreme heat index like we have been experiencing for the past couple of days. And then that's going to be a little bit more of the same as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Drier air is also going to be the reason why rain chances aren't going to be extremely high. Notice the heat risk for today. Normally it's in that major category because of that humidity, and because we are limiting that humidity, the heat risk for today is still going to be in that moderate range. But still, take your breaks, listen to your body, making sure that you're staying hydrated and cool. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
Roadways are nice on a Monday out here. This is going to be close towards downtown, John Young-ish. Between John Young and OBT, that nice stretch there. Be careful. Don't speed in the express lane. 60 miles an hour. OPD likes to sit right behind the toll plaza right there. There's your warning. If you get a ticket, that's on you. 24 minutes from 417 in Sanford to downtown. A little high. We are seeing those slowdowns eastbound along 528 at the 20. Just causing a brief slowdown now. It's pretty clear at this point. Oviedo, good morning to you. 434 from UCF all the way up towards that area. Running nice. Last week out on patrol, great time. Had community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez inside results one. You guys know, love featuring some of our News 6 folks inside the car just to have a nice conversation. You can check that out yourself and listen along over at clickorlando.com. Today, what the honks might not be featured here all the time, but they're still out on the road. So we're going to take once a month to feature those. We're going to talk about a few that you guys have sent in to me today at 10 o'clock. Guys, back to you.
Should be interesting. Thank you, Steve. 7:42 now. Pride Month sparks political tension in St. Cloud.
But that didn't stop hundreds from showing up to celebrate over the weekend. Coming up, how a demoted St. Cloud councilman is now responding and how this weekend's event could change how the city handles all future proclamations. First, though.
We've been here every day since, just being by his side, praying over him, and hoping for the best.
A house fire destroys a family's home the night before a wedding, but heroic actions save lives. How the couple pushed through tragedy to say, I do.
Breaking within the last hour, United Launch Alliance just launched another major mission from the Space Coast. An Atlas V rocket put Amazon's Kuiper 2 satellites into low Earth orbit. We brought it to you live on air right here on News 6 Plus. It's part of a plan to build a global broadband network. Amazon plans to deploy more than 3,200 satellites through Project Kuiper, targeting internet access in remote communities worldwide. And it follows an early morning SpaceX launch from our coast. 27 Starlink satellites are now in orbit after taking off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station just before 2 a.m.
A family continues to recover after barely escaping a house fire in Seminole County, and the timing couldn't have been worse. The fire broke out just hours before a couple was set to walk down the aisle, and now the groom's father is in the ICU while the newlyweds focus on helping with his recovery. As News 6's Jarrell Baker reports, a heroic rescue is what saved lives that night.
Tragedy struck during what was supposed to be the happiest weekend of Bryce and Morgan McGee's life.
It just flipped our entire family's world upside down.
When Bryce's parents and family friends were caught in a house fire at their Geneva mobile home last Saturday.
For something like that to come the day before your wedding, what was just going through your heads?
More than words can say, to be honest.
We were thinking about canceling the wedding.
Yeah.
This is what's left after the fire broke out early that morning. Seminole County Fire responded around 6:12 a.m. Bryce says that day, a family friend who lived in the front of the home with his girlfriend woke up and saw the blaze.
He, without a second thought, ran through the fire to my father's room, woke my parents up, and there my dad and Charles made a human shield kind of around my mom and walked her out the fire.
Bryce says that his disabled mother only had severe smoke inhalation and minor injuries and was released from the hospital the same day. But his father and friend both had severe second-degree burns on half of their bodies, including their face, back, and arms.
They were heavily sedated in a medical coma. But we
Definitely reality smacked us when we saw his dad.
We kind of broke down,
cried
prayed over him, and just stuck by his side.
The couple says that they got married the next day after they learned that both men were awake and in stable condition. The couple says that both men are off the ventilator and they're making progress. That's why they're hoping they can raise money to give them a new home when they get released.
When these two gentlemen get out of the hospital, they have a little piece of something they may have lost. You know, they have a roof over their head.
The newlyweds believe that something electrical may have caused the blaze. Seminole County firefighters say that the cause of the fire is still under investigation by the state fire marshal. In Seminole County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Those guys lucky to be alive this morning. Despite political pushback, a popular LGBTQ plus event went on as planned in St. Cloud over the weekend, drawing a crowd of more than 1,500 people. The Proud in the Cloud Festival happened on Saturday. It took place just days after city leaders voted not to recognize Pride Month and demoted Councilman Sean Fletcher, the city's first openly gay deputy mayor, after he spoke out about it. Fletcher says the event marked a step toward unity despite the divide.
Created dialogue, it's created discussion amongst the community members, and I think today reflects the positive energy that has come of that.
City officials say they plan to reevaluate all proclamations after also rejecting ones for Fatherhood Awareness and Home Ownership Month.
Well, a beach in Maine is fetching some big smiles with a new feature just for dogs. It's called a dog library, and it is so cute. It's filled with tennis balls and sticks, all donated by Public Works, who had a few too many lying around. So now four-legged visitors can grab a toy, grab it and play, see all their friends, socialize, and then they return it when they're all finished. See? Yeah, they're learning what it's all like. The town hopes dog owners and their furry friends leave happy after a visit to the library at the beach. I do think that is
Do they have to put one
awesome.
twig back? Do they have to put a stick back? They take one.
Take one,
They're
return
learning
one.
a lesson of sharing.
That's right.
Right, of course.
They're not always good at that.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
You have
as
two
all
at
of us
home.
have dog owner,
Yes.
soon to be
Yeah.
another dog owner over there. I cannot wait to show you what's happening on that
Oh
side
my
of the table. But they don't share. No, that's their stuff. They're
This
like,
is
nah,
mine.
this is mine.
We got my seasoning on it. I don't want your seasoning on it. So
That's true.
I like
true.
that.
yeah,
Seasoning.
that's what I call it.
Seasoning.
Because when you give them a new toy, they just go crazy on getting all their slobber. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
they're
yeah.
just seasoning it up, just
Yeah,
like
that's
yeah,
Okay.
just
I love
like
it.
yeah, like a cast iron skillet.
Get ready to have a lot of your stuff seasoned.
Like a cast iron.
It is. They just get a little seasoning
That
on
was
it.
good. I love that.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
I'm going to use that quite often now.
Seasoned. All right.
It's called seasoning.
Downtown Orlando right now, brought to you by Light Orlando, delivering hope together. Right now at 77 degrees in Orlando, 75 in Sanford. Central Florida seasonings today. We're not going to be sprinkling in too much rain in the forecast. Our coverage for this afternoon down to less than about 20 to 30%. So as we look here at the radar sweeps are going around, really not picking up much. We've been seeing little speckles of showers out over the Atlantic, but they fall apart pretty quickly as we have a lot of dry air in place. Big ridge of high pressure to our north. That's going to continue to bring our winds in out of the east, at times gusting today between about 15 to 20. So a relatively breezy afternoon certainly makes things feel a little more comfortable out there. So we have the breeze. We have some drier air. So our heat index isn't going to be extremely high today. Still feeling like up to 100 degrees, but it's not going to be like 100 to 110 like we have been seeing for the past couple of days. With that dry air as well, it will be bringing down rain chances today, which is why we're going to continue to keep things mostly dry throughout the majority of the day. Rain chances between about 1 and 5 o'clock at best could get up to about 30%. But I think for the most part, areas west of I-4 will have the best shot. And again, even that shot, it's not very high. Look at, and you can see here the clouds and rain forecast. We just got the latest update, still kind of picking up some of that activity developing basically just west of I-4 there across western Orange and into Lake and Sumter County. That continues to be kind of the focal point for today. But again, we're looking more kind of a western side chance for rain today, even clipping parts of the Gulf Coast waters. Do expect a lot more of the same, though, as we head into your Tuesday and Wednesday. Then that dry air starts moving out. We'll start seeing a little bit more of a surge to some tropical moisture moving in from our southern zones. We desperately need some rain in some locations. We're still, even though we are several weeks into rainy season, there's a big swath of Central Florida that remains under a moderate to severe drought. So we still need rain. There's just some areas that are seeing a lot more of it than others, right? So we're going to start bringing back that chance of rain in the forecast. So between the next 2 to 3 days, rain chances below average, about 20 to 30%, possibly even drier on Tuesday. And then we'll slowly start ticking those rain chances up come Friday and Saturday. So some tropical moisture working its way back in towards the end of the week. Speaking of the tropics, again, we are watching one area in the tropics right now with a high-end chance to become our next named storm. The only thing you need to know, though, it looks like it will be staying out to sea. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
Downtown Orlando, we are a little slow if you're headed in the east and westbound direction as you approach 408. Once you clear that, you're good to go. Your express lanes, no problems. Your drive times where they should be in both directions. Still seeing a little bit of slowdown out in east, 528 this morning on by Innovation. Some law enforcement activity out there on the right shoulder. So just be careful. Clear the lane. You'll be good to go. That delay that we did see out there, it's gone. 417 over Lake Jessup through Oviedo, nice and clear. And then a brief westbound delay before you hit Lake Mary Boulevard along I-4. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. A simple sticker with life-saving potential. How a Lake County startup is giving first responders critical information when someone can't speak for themselves. Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx and a pioneer in overnight shipping, has died. Smith revolutionized package delivery after first pitching the idea in a college term paper. He launched Federal Express in 1971, which started in Memphis with just 14 planes. Today, FedEx serves more than 220 countries and is worth nearly $90 billion. Smith was 80 years old.
An idea he got from a college paper.
Crazy.
In Lake County, a new startup is gaining attention for a simple tool that could help save lives in an emergency. With support from the UCF Business Incubator in Eustis, a Lake County company called Scan ID 365 is giving first responders crucial information when you can't. It's a sticker system where each one contains a QR code that links to a personalized profile with emergency contacts, medications, and known conditions.
So when you can't talk, you need something to speak for you. So this is how you get that information to the people who are responding to you when you can't talk.
The tech is now being used by everyone, from construction workers to cruise ship passengers. The team behind Scan ID 365 says this is just the beginning, with plans to expand even further. Candace.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast for today as you're out and about. Highs this afternoon back into those mid-90s. Notice the rain chances, though. Normally they should be around, 50, 60%. Not the case today, only about 20%. Still staying hot. It's not going to be as muggy as it has been. We're going to continue to keep things relatively dry for the next 2-3 days. We'll surge back that moisture. Much needed rain returns by the end of the week. But if your lawn needs some rain, make sure you got the sprinklers going, because Mother Nature really not adding too much to the rain gauges across town, Steve.
My grass is doing quite well.
Good.
I don't know why, but it's just
because it's seasoned by Teresa and Margaret.
My dog's slobber. No, my dogs are a little. They're not slobbers at all. It's my illegal sprinkler use. Downtown looks great. Don't crash. We're doing okay.
Save you.
Thanks for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Have a good one.